This is the Wansdyke, and it has two main parts, the east and the west part. And in the 19th century, it was considered to be joined up with a Roman road that went from Bath to Morgan's Hill, which is just south of Calne. The east and west parts are the same. They are great big dikes, which is an earthen wall with a ditch facing north. So if there was an enemy, it was to the north of the people to the south. The earthen banks would have either had a revetment to make them as vertical as possible, to make them as difficult to cross as possible, or a palisade on top to be guarded, to make it hard to get through the barrier. The middle part, the Roman road from Bath to Morgan's Hill, is just a Roman road. It has a ditch on either side, an agger in the middle. I'm in the village of Sandy Lane, and behind me is a Roman road. It goes from, certainly goes to Bath, and then it goes up to Avebury, and then goes along to, just to the west of Speen, which is just to the west of Speen, which is basically Newbury to all intents and purposes. The only Berkshire name I could find that was Romano-British and still survives. And it is a great big old structure, this Roman road. It has an agger of at least 4 feet. I did some whining at this point, a piece of footage which I've cut out. The agger of this road is a different type of earthwork from the other two dikes. It doesn't mean it couldn't have been defended, but it was a different type of earthwork, which is why, probably why, in the 20th century the word Wansdyke has disappeared from the Ordnance Survey map for that middle part. But in the 19th century, it was considered, the whole stretch was considered the Wansdyke, even though there were two different functions, one for the east and west ends, and one for the middle, which was just a Roman road. When I say just, Roman roads are special, but it was just a Roman road. So what evidence do we have that it was called the Wansdyke, ever called the Wansdyke, by anybody authentically close to the time of its making? Well, the Anglo-Saxon charters at the East End and the West End both talk of Woden's ditch, which means the god Woden's ditch. But there's nothing in the Anglo-Saxon charters for the middle that I could find. I've looked at dozens and I couldn't find anything. But looking at the Forest of Melksham, the Royal Forest of Melksham, and its medieval document from AD 1300, I found one of the landmarks of the boundary was called Woden's ditch, and that means that's Woden's ditch, Wansdyke, and it is exactly where the Roman road is. It doesn't touch either the east or the west end, so it means in the medieval period that people thought of the whole stretch as being the Wansdyke. They were well-travelled enough, intelligent enough to join the dots. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the whole length was used in some sort of narrative of post-Roman, sub-Roman Christian resistance to the heathen Germanic peoples, or the Scots, or the Irish, or the Picts. But it tells us from people that are much closer to that time, that's how they thought of it as being a special boundary of some sort, enough to be named with the name Woden, which makes it quite. It should indicate that something important was going on with its significance. I just wanted to point this out for Wansdyke watchers, because I've never seen this evidence before, and I must admit I nearly fell off my chair when I saw it for the first time. Now that evidence is much later, 1300, but it is still 700 years. It's still, a lot closer to the Dark Age than we are. And I think it's evidence enough to be able to say, regardless of what we think the Wansdyke represents, it does mean that if we take a historical approach, we can call the whole length the Wansdyke. But what does it mean? What was its purpose? A lot of this will come down to dating evidence. Pitt Rivers dug it and said it was sub-Roman. Its type is similar to the Antonine Wall in Scotland, and it's similar to Bokeley Dyke, which is down here. Bokeley Dyke was sealed in the Barbarian Conspiracy, something like 360, something like that, a time of national emergency, when, much like the post-Roman period, they're getting invaded from all sides: the Scots, the Irish, the Picts, and the Anglo-Saxons. So we are looking at possibly something along those lines. But there is apparently, according to Wessex Ways podcast, there is some spectral analysis, I think it is, that should give us a date of the Wansdyke. If the Wansdyke is an Anglo-Saxon structure, I still maintain from the place name evidence that there is an enclave of people who survived at least into the 6th century. We know that from how the Welsh language changed in that period, and that change survived in the place names today. That something was going on, some survival was going on. But so the Wansdyke for my little hobby horse of trying to illustrate to the world an idea of a sub-Roman enclave should survive if the Wansdyke is proved to be Anglo-Saxon and not Romano-British. I hope not, however. It would be tidier and neater if that didn't happen, but we'll see what happens. But I just wanted, for those Wansdyke watchers out there that are out there, that there is this little piece of evidence that I've never seen. I've been doing this for a few years now, and I'm pleased to see it. It helps. In the meantime, this infernal device thinks that you might like to watch this video here.